Alright, and hello everyone, it is me, Jay Burns, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you all how to make this bracelet right here. And while this bracelet here is not my design, this is actually a design by Rainbow Loom, and a link to their channel will be in the description. But anyway, this bracelet here is the ladder bracelet, and they actually named it the Rainbow Ladder Bracelet, so I actually have a rainbow here, but most people call it the ladder bracelet, so that's what I'll be calling it for the title and stuff. So yeah, the ladder bracelet. I'll be showing you how to make it on the moon loom. So you will need a moon loom for this. You will also need your hook, and there's also a vacuum going in the background, so if you hear that, I do apologize for the noise. Anyway, so you'll need your loom, your hook, you'll need a clip. I have a C clip, which is a Rainbow Loom clip. I don't have any more S clips, so whatever clip you use, as long as it's for rubber band bracelets, it'll work for the design. Then you will of course need rubber bands. There are 3 groups. I'll explain what each group is. And so the A group, the A bands, they are going to be the single chains, these 2 single chains, going along the outside of the bracelet. The B rubber bands are going to be the bands that are going across these 2 single chains and over that middle single chain in there, and they are the rung rubber bands. Then these C rubber bands are going to be the single chain in the middle of the bracelet and in between the 2 layers of rung bands. So as you can see here, when you flip the bracelet around, it's the exact same, and there's just a single chain in the middle of all that rung stuff, and that's your C color bands. So in the description I'll have the number of bands you'll need to make the bracelet on your loom, and all you'll have to do is just use the pause button so that you can get the supplies you'll need, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so when you're making this bracelet, you want to have your moon loom so that it kind of looks like an upside down U or a rainbow, so it's curving away from you. That's how you're going to want to have your moon loom for this tutorial. And what we'll be doing is we'll be starting placing the bands on the right side of the loom. So we're first going to start by placing our A color bands, which will be those single chains, the 2 single chains running along the outside of the bracelet. And well, to do this, we're going to start by taking an A color band, and we're going to be placing it going from this first middle pin to this first inner pin. So the inner row here, we'll be placing bands on that row first. Alright, now we'll get another A color band, and we'll place it going across these first 2 inner pins, starting our little single chain we'll be placing. Then we'll get another A color band, place it going across these 2 inner pins, another A color band across these 2 inner pins, making a little single chain of bands going all the way around the inner row of pins on your loom. And we're actually going to stop placing our A color bands when we get to the second to the last inner pin here. So this pin here, we'll stop placing our A color bands, and I'll show you what to do when you get there. So just go ahead and place or continue placing your little single chain, and use the pause button if you need to. There we go. So you stop when you get to the second to the last inner pin, and what we'll do now is we'll just get one more A color band and place it going in to that last middle pin. It's from here to here. Now we'll return to the right side of our moon loom, and we'll place a single chain of bands or A color bands going around the outer pins, which are these pins furthest away from you, around the outside of the little curve here of our moon loom. So exact same thing, we'll start on that same middle pin, take our A color band and place it going out to the outer pin, first one. Then we'll take another A color band and place it going from that first outer pin to that second outer pin, starting our little single chain here. Get another A color band, place it going across that second outer pin to that third outer pin. Another A color band across those next two little outer pins there, and just like before, we'll place a single chain of bands around the outside pins of our moon loom, and we'll stop at the second to the last outer pin as well. So go ahead and continue placing your A color bands. Just use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so there we go. Now we have stopped here on that second to the last outer pin. We'll do the exact same thing we did the first time. We'll get one last A color band, which this should be your last one, and we'll place it going inwards from that outer pin to the last middle pin, like so. Now we'll return to the right side of our loom again, and now we're going to place our first layer of the rung bands. So to do this, we'll get our B color bands, which I will be calling the rung rubber bands in this tutorial. Right? And well, we're going to place our first rung rubber band going across this second inner pin and the second outer pin. So we'll just take the band and we'll stretch it across like that, completely ignoring those middle pins and completely ignoring the first inner pin and the first outer pin. So we start here. Now we'll take another rung rubber band and place it going across now the third inner pin and the third outer pin. Another rung rubber band, now the fourth inner pin and the fourth outer pin, and another rung rubber band going across the fifth inner pin and the fifth outer pin. So as you can see, there's a pattern. Whatever number or whichever pin, so inner pin that you place the rung rubber band on, just stretch it straight across out to the outer pin right next to it, pretty much. So you just do that going all the way around your moon loom, and we'll stop when we get to the third to the last inner and outer pins. So we'll completely skip these 4 pins here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. Use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so there we go. So you stop placing your rung rubber bands on the third to the last inner and outer pins. There should be no rung rubber bands on these 4 pins here. Alright, there also should not be any rung rubber bands on any of your middle pins as well. But anyway, now we're going to go ahead and place our last little single chain for our ladder bracelet, and that will be made of C color bands. Alright, so you're also going to want to have your hook nearby, because we'll be looming after we place this single chain, and I'll explain why in just a minute. You should still have your B color bands, some more rung bands left over. And I'll explain what we do with those once we place this single chain. So we'll start on the right side of our loom again, where we started placing all of our bands. We'll take our C-color band, and we'll place it here on that first middle pin, and then straight to that second middle pin. We'll take another C-color band and place it from the second middle pin to this third middle pin, making a little single chain here. Another C-color band, place it, and we'll just keep going around our moon loom, placing our C-color bands in the middle row, and we'll stop when we get to this last middle pin, because there's nowhere else really to place these C-color bands once we get there. So use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so you stop when you get to that last middle pin there on the left side, and I like to push down my bands so there's room on the pins, because what we're going to do now is we're actually going to loom this single chain we just now placed, and the vacuum is back. Anyway, so we're going to get another C-color band and our hook, and we're going to start looming on the left side of our loom now. And what we're going to do with this C-color band here is we're going to make it into a cat band. And to do that, you take the band, twist it, so you get an H or infinity shape or a little bow tie looking shape here. Then you kind of fold the band back on top of itself like a book. And when you hold it together, you have your little cat band now. So now what we'll do is we'll take this cat band and we'll place it on this first middle pin. Like that. Now we're going to loom the C-color rubber band single chain, and to do this we'll start on that first middle pin. So now this is the first middle pin because we're starting on the left. So we're going to pull back the cat band with our hook, grab that top band, which should be the C-color band, there we go. Once you grab it, you can pull it and loom it forwards to that next middle pin. Now we're here on that next middle pin, which is the second middle pin. We just go in, grab that bottom C-color band and loom it forwards to the next middle pin. Then here on the next middle pin, we just go in, grab that bottom C-color band and loom it forwards to the next middle pin. And that's how you loom a single chain. So pretty much that's all we're going to be doing, going around the middle row here, and we'll stop when we get to this last middle pin here on the right side. So go ahead and continue looming. Also, when you're looming, you can kind of turn your moon loom so that you can loom a little bit better and faster. But just make sure whenever you finish that you have the moon loom curved, well, with the curve away from you, like an upside down letter U or a rainbow. So use the pause button if you need to. Right, there we go. So once you have loomed your entire C-color single chain, you stopped here on that last middle pin. Make sure that once you finish, you have your moon loom back in the original position you had it before, so that the curve is, so it's curving away from you. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to place the next, so the second layer of rungs. So why we had to loom and place the C-color single chain first, as you can see, the single chain is in the middle, so it's in between these rung rubber bands, it's not going through them, it's just in between the two layers. So as you can see, it's also loomed, so we also had to loom the single chain before we added this second layer of rungs. So go ahead and get the remaining rung rubber bands you have. You can put your hook to the side for now, we're not going to loom yet. And, well, we're going to go ahead and place them. It's the exact same thing you did the first time you placed rungs. We'll start by taking a rung rubber band and place it going across the second inner pin and the second outer pin, skipping these two pins here, and also all of your middle pins. Then you'll get another rung rubber band, place it going across this third inner pin to the third outer pin. Another rung rubber band going across the fourth inner pin and the fourth outer pin. And then another rung rubber band going across the fifth inner pin to the fifth outer pin. So the exact same pattern you followed the first time, and you'll just place the rest of your rung rubber bands. Use the pause button if you need to. There we go. And then I like to push down my rung rubber bands once I finish placing them. And so, you should not have any rung rubber bands on any of the middle pins, and also none on these first two the first inner and outer pin, and then these four inner and outer, oh my goodness, and then these two pairs of inner and outer pins at the end on the left side of your loom. Alright, so once you place them, you can go ahead and get your hook back out. Now we're going to loom the rest of the bracelet so that we can finally close it off and make it a bracelet. Alright, so just like before, we'll start on the left side of our loom. So now the left side is where we're going to start. And we already have our cap band here, this white band for me, it's that sea color band. And what we'll do with our hook is we'll go into that cap band on that pin, grab the top band, so that top little band there underneath of it, and then loom it outwards to wherever it's coming from, and it should be coming from these outer pins here. So we'll be looming the single chain here on the outside. Alright, so here on the outer pin, so the second outer pin here, we just pull back the top band, grab the bottom band, and loom it forwards here on the outer pin side. Now here on this third outer pin, we also have to pull back these rung bands that are there. Then we can grab that bottom band, which should be an A color band, and we loom it forwards to the next outer pin. So we're only looming the outer, or the A color bands. So here on the next pin, we do the same thing, pull back all those top bands, grab that very bottom A color band, and loom it forwards. Again, pull back all those top bands, grab that bottom A color band, loom it forwards to the next pin, and you'll just do that going all the way around the outer row of pins. When you get to this last outer pin here, I'll go ahead and show you what you do once you get to that point. So use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so now we're on the left side of our loom, and we finished looming all of our A color bands here on the outer row. And once you get to this point here, so this last outer pin, what you do is you just take your hook, grab that bottom A color band, and loom it into the middle where it's coming from. And that's it. So now you can make sure you turn your moon loom back around so that the curve is, well, curving away from you. And we return to the left side of our loom, and we do the exact same thing we did for this outer row for the inner row now. So, I'll go ahead and just explain a little bit one more time. So you just pull back the cap band, now grab the bottom band, because that's all that should be left underneath that. Loom it outwards to, well, loom that A color band outwards to wherever it's coming from, which should be this inner row here. Then once you're in this inner row, you can just pull back the top bands, grab this bottom A color band, loom it forwards. Then on this next pin here, you're going to just pull back all the top bands, including those rung bands, with your hook. Grab that bottom band, and you just loom it forwards to that next inner pin. And so you'll just do that going all the way around the inner row of pins on your loom, and you'll stop when you get to this last inner pin. So just go ahead and continue looming. Use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so as you can see here, I am now on the left side of my loom, or the right side of my loom, sorry, and I've finished looming the bands here in this inner row of pins. And just like we did for the outer row of pins, we just have this A color band going inwards from the inner pin to the to the middle pin. So just like we did before, we'll just grab that bottom band there and loom it into the middle. And that's it. So now, check your loom, make sure you've loomed all of your bands. And all we have to do now is we need to take this bracelet off of our loom and make it a bracelet. So, you'll just need to get your last C color band that I told you to get out. And then you'll still need your hook. So first, we're going to start by taking the bracelet off with our hook on the left side of our loom. And what we'll do is we'll use our hook to pull the bands off of our loom. So here, starting at the cap band, we take our hook and pull the band off the pin. Then here, use our hook, pull the bands off the pin, pull the bands off the pin. Here, pull the bands off the pin. And we'll just do that going all the way around our moon loom, and we'll stop when we get to this last middle pin. Do not take the rubber bands off this last middle pin. You will need them to stay on your loom. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. Just use the pause button if you need to. Alright, there we go. So as you can see here, I have taken all these bands off of my loom now, except for these here on the last middle pin, here on the right side of our loom. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our hook and our last C color band, and first sorry about that, the vacuum was a little bit loud so I wasn't sure if you were going to hear me, so. Anyway, you're going to take your hook, stick it into that last middle pin, like so. And what we're going to do is we're just going to actually go ahead and take the bands off of the pin, but keep them on your hook. So just lift them off like that. Then what we'll do is we'll take our C-color band, put it on our hook, just put it on the actual part of our hook, like so, and slide all these bands that are on our hook onto the new band. And you'll want to be careful when you do this, so that you don't accidentally drop this C-color band. And what we'll need to do is actually put the other end of this new band onto our hook as well. So, most likely this bracelet is not actually long enough to fit around your wrist. So there are some additional C-color bands, which I had said in the description that you'll need to get. You'll need to get some additional C-color rubber bands to add to what you have here and make an extension. So, what you're going to do is you're going to get your loom, and we're going to be using these two pins here on the left side. So these first two pins here on the left side, or you could really use any two pins on your loom, but I'll be using these two here. And we'll be making our extension on those pins. So this band that we have here on our hook, we're just going to take this first loop here, take it off of our hook, and put it on one of these two pins, like that. Then the other loop that's here on our hook, we'll put it on the other pin, like that. Now we're going to go ahead and add a little single chain of bands to be our extension. So we'll take a C-color band, stretch it across these two pins, so the same two pins you put this first band on. Then you're going to use your hook to grab those bottom band, so that bottom band on both pins, so pull it up and over, and then pull it up and over on the other pin. Then you'll get another C-color rubber band, place it going across those two pins, get your hook, and loom the bottom band up and over on both pins. And that's pretty much there is to it. So you'll just keep doing that over and over until you make your extension long enough so that your bracelet will fit around your wrist. And I'll go ahead and show you how you do it one more time, and then I'll show you how you close off your bracelet. So have your clip nearby. So what you do is you take another C-color band and you stretch it across those two pins there on top of this band underneath. You'll get your hook, grab the bottom band and loop it over on both pins. And then, once you've done that, you would push this band here on top down, and then you would get another band and the pattern will start over. So, now I'm going to show you what you do to close your bracelet off. So if you need to add more bands, go ahead and do that. Use the pause button. And well, what you're going to do is you're going to use your hook to get this band here on your loom onto one pin. So you'll take your hook, you can grab here on the left pin or the right pin, carefully take it off only that pin, but keep it on your hook, and bring it over to the other pin, like so. Now, once you've done that, you'll get your clip and you'll attach it to this band on this pin. And if you need to, you can use your hook to stretch the band out to another pin, like so. And what that will do is it'll make it easier for you to get your clip and attach it to the band. And so once the clip is on there, you can take the band off your loom. And finally, you're going to need to get your clip onto your cap band, and you can use your loom to stretch out the cap band and make it easier for you to attach your clip, but I usually just take the clip and attach it to the cap band like so. And so once you've done that, you now have a bracelet, so you don't need your loom anymore, don't need your hook anymore for the bracelet. and all you have to do is put it on. And bam! So as you can see here, I am now wearing my completed ladder bracelet, and hopefully now you are as well. So now it's time for the outro. So I would like to thank you for watching my tutorial. Hopefully it shows you how to make the moon loom bracelet successfully, or not the moon loom, but the ladder bracelet successfully on your moon loom. Hopefully now you have your bracelet. And yeah, so the original creators were Rainbow Loom, and I will have the link to their channel in the description so you can check them out. And well, that's pretty much all I have to say for this tutorial, other than thanks for watching and bye!